Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the summary for multiplayer game number 63. So for all you that did not start from the part first, this is going to be a teamer 3 versus 3 game played on Skirmish Plains map with the usual rules: no shift clicks, no +4 fate, from Natural Wonders, Pantheon, no gold from Religion, and I'm playing with Sugar and Q and Xaris 6, and we're going up against Erwin Rommel A7XXXXX and Totus Tier Test V. I'm playing USA, I'm mirroring A7, Sugar is playing Netherlands mirroring Erwin Rommel, and Xaris 6 is playing Russia mirroring Test V. So sadly for me, I started absolutely at the front, something that I just don't like so much. I'm not a great fighter. I prefer building up. I'm not a fast clicker, so yeah, those teamers are, well, just that when there's so many units, I'm easily outclicked basically. So I decided to move my capital onto truffles. Yes, losing the watermill, but I was thinking like, okay, this way I see a hill, I can plant a hill right in front. I don't know how much space I actually do have, so moving back just one tile to get that extra happiness, and pretty nice land in the back. Get horses in the back in third ring, in the third ring sounded like a very reasonable idea, so I moved back. This time I went the usual opening, which means liberty until a free settler, and then thinking about tradition. Since my teammates were pretty far behind, well, I definitely wanted to get my frontal cities as fast as possible so I can actually control a bit of land. So I was thinking about, well, with the land I saw after initial scouting, I was thinking about actually going 4-city tradition. Well, 4-city free settler into 4-city tradition, and just focus on those 4 cities for defense, growth, and as much hammers as possible. Well, the game was pretty slow at the start. I managed to grab my 4 cities as I initially planned, and I was basically focused on growing and actually getting a little bit of extra science, getting workshops before machinery, and just focusing on economy as much as possible. There was no place for me to actually plant more cities, so I was like determined to just focus on those 4 cities that I have, especially that I had Xaris in the back, so Russia would benefit more from getting, like iron and extra horses. So I definitely wanted for him to plant more cities, though maybe not again, but Xaris was so reluctant to get more cities. He was still on only 5 cities at turn 70, and Sugar actually was not on that many cities as well. He had only 4 cities. So though we were kind of leading in technology and economy, I was not too happy. I was really hoping that my teammates will join me on the front lines much faster, but thankfully, well, my defensive spot in this game were really good. Attacking Atlanta or attacking Boston, they will be really hard. So I felt safe, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on making as much economy as fast as possible without building too much army to actually defend against anything. So, well, basically, we thought as a team, which I'm not too proud of, that we're in such a good spot that we have nothing to worry about. So I actually tried to pressure a little bit, because we were first to crossbows. It would seem that we have a production advantage, and then we can actually well, basically clear this game pretty early. So I attacked, in the meantime building hanging gardens and actually taking towards universities. But things basically, let me explain what happened. I mean, like, logically, when you attack, the other team will defend, right? So as soon as they will see that they do not have enough units, they will try to compensate with extra production of units, right? So you are bound to lose some units in the attack. And what happened in our team, actually, we were so overconfident, I think, at this point of the game, then I was attacking, but even I was not focused 100% on army production. But what happened even worse is that my teammates were not focused 100% on production. So instead of reinforcing, I kind of broke in. Let me show you the next screen where the attack seemed like it's going to do a lot of damage. So this is basically how far I managed to get in here. So what happened is I actually managed to break in here, deal damage, but we went for universities in the meantime, and actually Xaris, instead of making 1 or 2 wave of units, stopped producing units. I mean, like, this is a very common mistake, that, well, of course it's my fault as well. I mean, like, I was in this team, and as I said, we were basically all together overconfident, but I want to explain you the mechanic behind this. When you attack, the other teams start thinking about defending, so they are starting to pump out units very quickly. So you are bound to lose units in the exchange. There's no other way around. So if you make the initial damage, you gotta still produce units, so you can actually trade units. I mean, like, you're gonna kill a unit, and you know, you can't retreat units really in a teamer with so much units. You are bound to lose a lot of units, so you got to replace them with your reinforcements. So our attack did the initial damage. We managed to actually threaten a city, but we didn't have any reinforcements. I was producing units, probably not 100% as well, but not only Sugar but Xaris were not producing 1 or 2 wave of units at this point of the game. So basically, instead of dealing the final blow and getting a city, dealing a lot of damage, we actually had to retreat. Yes, we got universities behind this attack, but we could have probably finished this game in here. And now we lost a lot of units, and we had to basically retreat. So not only we did not manage to basically win the game, but we had to retreat. And actually Sugar was in quite a big trouble at some point. Well, at some point he was in trouble, basically. So thankfully the only good thing that we managed to get was actually the science lead. As you can see on this screenshot, I actually messed up, but I prepared Oxford University. I messed up a little bit of the tech part. I was thinking, like, okay, you can get to cavalry without chemistry. So I had to delay the turn timer for 2 or 3 turns, if I believe correctly, to actually get to cavalry instead of getting chemistry. To get cavalry faster, because we were basically getting killed. They were producing mass crossbows, mass knights. They were fighting pretty well, getting nice clicks on us, and basically this is what happened. I mean, like, we did not focus 100% on army, and they were. Yes, they were behind in tech, but at this moment we were basically in trouble, because if they could flood us with crossbows and knights, then it would be basically over. But thankfully, thankfully we managed to do this. Yeah, so thankfully cavalry arrived. As I said, I messed up the tech part a little bit, so I actually had to wait a couple of turns for the free tech from Oxford to get to cavalries. I pre-builded some knights, so since we didn't have gold to actually upgrade, so I could get some cavalries on the field. And with cavalries, I was able to break the enemy line into two. So kind of saving Sugar, who started to have a bit of trouble actually. And after seeing cavalries on the field, they GG'd. They GG'd because they were pretty far away behind in tech. So basically cavalry saved the day. And to be honest, we really had a production advantage, we had a science advantage, but tactically we messed up the mid game. We attacked without reinforcing the attack, and that attack failed. Well, I did take the city, but they retook it instantly, but overall that attack failed, and we were forced into the defensive, and behind the defensive we actually still tried to echo up, which got us into basically a very defensive play. But thankfully this time this worked out well. But in my opinion, if we would reinforce the right moment with attacking with crossbows and knights, we could probably break them much earlier. And here we had to actually count on getting that superior attack, getting to cavalries, and actually with cavalries on the field, with a heavy Renaissance army with crossbows and the muskets, we were finally able to deal damage and to actually break their front lines, so they GG'd. So overall, I would actually summarize this game as a very close game, and I would say that me and my team were too cocky in this game, and we overestimated that timing with crossbows and knights basically, and I would say that we could lose this quite easily. So overall, a pretty cool and interesting game from my point of view, showing a lot of those small things that really matters in those games. Yeah. Alright, so one more time, thank you for the game, to everyone, GG, and thank you very much for watching. If you haven't seen the actual game, then check it out. It starts on the first position of the playlist, and if you already seen it, that hopefully this summary will be useful to you. Definitely I like to do those because it just shows all those mistakes that I actually made, and those spots that I can really improve on when I play. So one more time, thank you very much for watching, and I invite you to watch the actual game. So best wishes, Yoruus out.